was 4-1 or 3-2?
It was 4-1.
Okay, thank you.
A second.
George. Okay, moving on to item 4E, consideration and action to proceed with the USDA application for Plaza Well and water system improvements.
Yes, Mayor and City Council. Okay, so we've been going back and forth. I'm not going to go back over the Plaza Well. We all know that we've been talking about the Plaza Well. And if you look at the information that I provided, it is provided under the section E. This is a trip. We have to do an application. When I came before you before, I talked about our different options. We could have gone with the Texas Water Development Board or the USDA. I've checked with the USDA to see if we can take it all out of our reserves, and they're saying no, they don't want us to deplete our reserves to that level. And so what I'm asking is to apply. I have to ask before we apply, and I have to start having public hearings. And so from the last council on a consensus, you said not to do Water Development Board because that's based off ad valorem taxes, and the USDA can be based off revenue taxes. And so what we're going to be looking to apply for is Plaza Well replacement project to actually dig a well. As you can see there, it is more than 30 years old. It has been offline for over a year. The Oak Hills Interconnect project description is there to have that interconnect. They'll allow us to be able to do that. And then B Street Well, in our current USDA project, we were going to plan to do some maintenance to it, but because we only have 2 wells this time, I cannot take it offline. And I don't mean to pick on you, Councilman Ortiz, but Councilman Ortiz said we need to have a plan of action to maintain it. And I think when we talked about those before, because that B Street well has not been maintained, meaning I have to take it offline, clean it out, paint it, those things that we have to do. And so I added the B Street well into that. We haven't spent any money in reference to engineering. I want to give you a scope of what it would be, and I need to be able to start the application process. Recently, the USDA has received somewhere between $30 billion. The city of Floresville is going to be applying for this, and the engineer can do those numbers. Before I start that process, I need to be able to have permission from the council via action so that we can start the application process.
Any questions for Mrs. Turner? Yes, Councilman Johnson.
Are there any stipulations to borrow this money from USDA where the citizens of Floresville will be restricted on water use?
Okay. The city of Floresville currently does not have a water restriction plan. However, best practices should require us to have a water conservation plan. They've been talking about that over the years, but there has not. But one of the good things as a practice should be is you would need to have a water restriction plan. You should have one, but currently we do not. But the USDA would not require you to do one, but they will say it is a good practice to have.
What would it entail where you could only water once a week or something like that?
It would depend on different levels. If we want to use San Antonio, for example, they have different levels of when you can water. Okay? You have different levels what you can do. So what you can't do is what we want to avoid people doing is turn on the sprinkler, walking away and let it just water until they get tired. To actually have people to make sure that they turn off their sprinklers when it's raining, so when we do get rain, we're not actually sprinkling. So it can make you do things such as that. You can restrict it if it's a red day, and I'll use that example, really low level day of water. You can say no one can wash their vehicles or water their lawn. You should have, as most communities do have, you should have a time when people should water, and you should to watch your pressure so that people not wandering along between the hours of, for example, these days say sometimes between 5 and 9 because people are taking showers and it hits the pressure. You should have something, but it's not required for the USDA application.
Well, we won't be forced to, have water police walking around town.
You will not be forced to. However, you do need to look at having a water plan to be able to have people. It's called a water conservation plan, which most communities have. But you're not going to be forced to if you
won't
intend.
have to be forced to.
It's good practice, but you're not forced.
Can I say something about this?
Yes.
About this action? Is that if we start having these restrictions, it will hurt the city's pocket. That's just a heads up on that. Because the city will not be collecting that much amount as a normal day.
The water is a resource, and so you should protect your resource.
I
And
understand.
even though I don't want to, I get money when they do it, but it's just like you don't want to say because I pay gas to pour on the ground. So we have to protect their resource. So it's just kind of like you have to force people to do, just like recycling. At one time nobody thought about recycling because we had all kind of landfills, all the landfills filled up, and now we have to think about how we can recycle to reuse. And so all it's doing is say common sense kind of things to do, just recommendations, but it's not a requirement.
Any other councilman?
So we could start a simple plan, a water conservative plan by just offering shower heads that limit so much water coming out, and we can provide that, the water fee.
You could have a
started
water
small.
conservation plan that talks about when you install new toilets, you have to install the toilets that are 1.5 gallons, that, for new construction, it's everybody else's grandfather. There's a lot of other things besides restricting people watering their grass and washing their car.
We can tell them that
Yes.
efficient water faucets, toilets, and we gotta put timers on the sprinklers.
Yes.
Okay.
So the water conservation plan doesn't just restrict people from watering their lawn or using water. It also talks about other things you can implement.
Any other questions? Any citizens' comments? If not, I will proceed, I'll entertain a motion to proceed with the USDA application for Plaza Well and water system improvements.
I move to proceed with the USDA application for Plaza Well and water system improvements.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Cantu. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Easton. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed? 4-1. Moving on to item F, consideration and action to approve disbursement of hotel motel tax funds in the sum of $1,500 as recommended by the Convention Visitor and Tours Advisory Committee to the Floresville Chapter 271 Order of the Eastern Star. Do we have anybody that's representing?
Yes, we have the chairperson from that committee here. They
Okay.
can present to that.
Good evening. Thank you for your time. I will be discussing item F. The tourism board met on June 26th to discuss the application submitted by Ms. Tracy Tutler for the Floresville Chamber number 271, Order of the Eastern Star. And actually, Ms. Gail Fuller was present to answer any questions that the board may have had. In reviewing the application, this will be an annual School of Instruction and Fraternal Visit of the Worthy Grand Matron and Worthy Grand Patron of Texas. It's an event that will be held here at the Event Center on October 5th and 6th, the two-day event that will consist of attendees staying for one evening. In previous events, they've had a number of attendees from ranging from 250 to 500. They are anticipating about the same amount of attendees for this year. In the past two events that they have had, they've had over 50 rooms booked, and they do reserve rooms. They've had currently they'll have the double occupancy rooms. About 30 of them have been reserved for Holiday Inn. And they have also blocked off about 10 single occupancy rooms with the Holiday Inn as well. As far as advertisement goes, they do advertise across the state, which they use their own funds for. They submitted samples of their advertisements. They have a book that goes out throughout the state and an official bulletin. An example from December that they advertise the city, the event center, and also all of the hotels.
Yeah, they've come before me.
Yes, sir. Yeah, this will be their third year here at the event center. With their application, they have requested the amount of $1,500 to offset funding, so they will not have to request so much funding from their and I agree to the recommendation of the $1,500.
I'll make the motion.
I wanted to make known, we have it in your packet, and I know this was brought to my attention, that for the council to know ahead of time, that right now, the hotel motel tax is currently in the red at $7,500. So, some decisions will have to be made.
When is this going to take place? This will be this October 5th and 6th.
So when do you need the money back?
They would need the money anytime before the events. People that do submit applications are willing to front money if they are able to and offset the cost, and they can receive that reimbursement and funds.
And when we started from the business,
Our fiscal year starts October 1.
October 1,
But there's no way of approving it for the next.
If you approve it in today, then it has to be paid before September 30th.
September the 30th.
Because you can't approve funds before you approve your budget. So if it's approved in this
So
fiscal
when
year,
are we gonna, when we're supposed to, like, they come back, since it's gonna be in October,
What
can
day,
you
what
come
day in
back?
October?
Can you come back right after this?
What?
October 5th and 6th.
I would say we would have to have a meeting for October 5th and 6th.
Their representative is here, okay, Mr. California, so I'll let her come to the podium.
I mean, because we wanna give you the money, but if it's not, you know.
We're in the red.
Of course, we would have to pay all of our expenses. In fact, we paid today at the hotel. The notices went out yesterday statewide. The hotel had already received over 5 calls just yesterday booking rooms for this. But we paid today for the rooms that we have to provide for our state officers coming in. So we're out money. We'll have to pay the event center, and they're not going to wait until after the event is over with either.
I have a question
Yes, Councilman.
for Henrietta. You said that you're out of the payment for the event center? Ma'am,
Yes, yes, we have them to pay the event center.
can it work in-house? No? In-house, like?
the artists will come spank my hands, I'm not giving spank to them.
Pardon me?
The artists will come spank hands. No, I can't say that you can approve for them to have, to waive the $2,000 rental fee, and then give, because I have to be able to,
Okay.
they look at all the contracts for the event center,
Okay.
they audit those.
Okay.
So,
No, it was.
yes, so I was looking at the city secretary, we're going to try to say we want to do this next year is what I'm thinking, Councilman Cantu was saying. The first, we don't normally have a meeting the first week in October because of Peanut Festival. It's kind of a crazy time for us to be able to do that. So we don't normally have a meeting, and by the way, when we meet in City Hall, we have that. It's at the end of the month,
And
because
it's
we able to
CML.
have that. And it's, it's at the end of the month, should be like the 20-something, but we don't, we have, the 25th, we have our first meeting of our new fiscal year. So you can approve it at that time, but if you approve it now, I have to pay it by September of this year. Your attorney just advised you that you can't approve to pay something for next year when we haven't approved the budget.
Well, they're going to be giving us $2,000 for the rental of the building.
The other one is 1,500.
I believe you've already made a deposit. You've already made a deposit on the building, on the room rental. No, not yet.
No, not yet. But
How
it's
much is the rental going to be?
This is our 3rd event in less than a year there, and because we were coming before this, we didn't make a deposit at that time.
So Councilman Ortiz, to piggyback off your question, what we could do is delay asking for them to pay
Okay, till next year?
until next year.
That's.
Typically, in the contract, they have to pay a deposit, and then they have to have it paid, I think it's 30 days before the event is done. We can waive those those requirements and take payment close to the event, or even after the event, if anticipating that you were able to make this transition. Does that sound fair? Does that make sense? Understand delay having to pay for 2,000.
Until we give them the money?
Until they pay the money. It's kind of like, I work with the check and give it back to me, but we have to be able to charge that. And I can, you all have given me authority, I can sign on that authority that you all said to do that and delay a payment for this facility. Now, Mayor and I would actually, yes, took the last one. It is fun. The ladies are so big. But I wanted to find a way, the council authorities have been around, we could delay asking them for repayment, and then we can put this on the first thing, first official meeting that we have in October for next year.
So,
And that would be 1,500.
okay, you got a motion. I got a
Well, there's one more question, and then I'll make the motion.
Here on the motel, we're in the deficit.
Okay, so the deficit is that, we budgeted and allocated $50,000, but in the request that we've done to date has exceeded the 50,000, and we're at $50,750.
What's this 449,000 funded on
Going back to, it's going back to Mr. Moreno's.
Right.
That is the entire fund balance of the hotel. So what she's saying in her memo here is that, as you can see, the Bureau gave them 50,000. This is everything that came out of the motel tax.
Right.
At the top is just the change. So she's giving you a total summary of what came out. They were budgeted $50,000. And the booster, the Ministerial Alliance, almost received funding, and the total funding came to the 57.5, which is 7,500 exceeded that they anticipated. But the overall budget, we have the reserve funds, that's not all. So when the mayor mentioned deficit, she's saying deficit for this fiscal year, when we talk about the 7,000, that's what we put in here. And I knew the question was gonna come up, so we had this, where the money go, this is where it went, this is where you all voted on each and every one. It just, staff didn't stop it in time, but we put some things in place now that they won't allow it to do so, unless you all vote to override it.
So we can vote to override it?
Vote to override it if you like, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But if I'm hearing you correctly, for this particular, because there's another one coming up, you're saying that we can
delay.
delay the payment, and then we'll put that on the agenda for next fiscal budget. Once you pass your budget, we can put October to pass that, and we can do that, right? Is that okay? But you will need to table this item now until the first meeting in October. Okay.
Do I have a
I made a motion to approve it.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to approve the item, excuse me,
It's a wonderful thing that they come and
$1,500
utilize our.
as recommended by the commission. Do I have a second?
I think I'm going to second it because I think we can,
They bring a lot of money.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Jimenez, a second by Councilwoman Cantu. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed? Okay.
Got three.
All those in
And
favor
two.
of going ahead and awarding it tonight, raise your hand. There's three.
There's three. Two and
All those opposed?
Then we will process the check.
give us the notice.
I just want to thank you and all of our response from the people that have come the last two events has been very, very positive, and they were looking forward to coming again. So
Thank you, and thank you for using our facilities.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate
Thank you very
that.
much.
Okay, moving on to item G, consideration action to approve disbursement of hotel motel tax funds in the amount of $2,500 as recommended by the contingent reserve and tourist advisory committee to the Wilson County Elite
Football camp. This is the third application for this organization. This event will take place Sunday, August 5th, and it's a free football camp for youth in grades 2nd through 12th grade. So they cover students and children attending.
Is this free for the children?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, there's no cost to any of the attendees. So we are anticipating having about 250 children attending. The football camp here at the River Park and the sports complex are going to utilize both facilities. These will be coming from Austin, Corpus Christi, San Antonio, and the surrounding areas. So those that are coming in from further out will actually need a place to stay. They are anticipating an increase, about a projected increase in 20% from last year over United States. They are going to block off rooms for families, and they're currently working with the hotels right now to block off rooms. Last year, I do believe they blocked them off at the Holiday Inn.
Do you have numbers on these? Do you have numbers of the hotel rooms that they actually used last year?
No, I don't have the actual numbers. He gave a projection of from increasing from 12% to 20% for this year with the increase of attendees.
You say this is their third time, they couldn't get numbers yet. Is this the third time with tourism and with visitors and tourism?
No, this is the third time for this program.
Okay, how many times have they come and asked for money?
This is the second time.
Second time. And did they give money from Phelps?
Yes.
So this is 3 times this committee's got money from us, and how much did we give from Phelps, you remember?
I believe it was $1,000.
And do you know how much the other time we give from tourism?
I do not have that on me, sir. They were requesting a total amount of $4,500. The committee was recommending $2,500 for the event.
So y'all get the figures? Okay. I'm gonna move to approve the disbursement of local tax funds of $2,500.
I have a motion on the floor by
I'll second.
Councilwoman Cantu. I appreciate it if you finish my sentence. Seconded by Councilman Jimenez. Any citizens' comments?
So we've already taken out $1,500 more than what we had on the other Eastern Star, which is fine. Now we're adding another $2,500. So we're robbing more money from the hotel than we need to keep it, which Ortiz wanted to start capping this stuff. And I agree with him 100%. Now tonight we was taking out close to $4,000 out of it.
Yes, Mr. Mason, but
Hold on, Mr. Mason is talking.
But when we take out 4,000 more, this is going against what most of us agree with. Mr. Ortiz quit taking money out and live with what we live. And then we give tourism board $50,000, and they've already overspent it by it. Now we're giving them another 4. I think we're not doing what council really wanted to talk about doing.
no, what we have,
Hold on, Councilman Ortiz, go ahead.
what we need to do is be more careful on how much money we're giving away. We've been giving away $45,000 to one person, 10,000 to this one, 9,000 to that one. You know, we give a lot of money out. This is for the children, and they need it. And I think it's a good cause.
If I may add a comment to what the topic is pertaining to. With our last meeting, the board did have a discussion of the application and funding, and we have decided to take a closer look at our application process and actually make changes to the process and actually have an applicant provide a post-event report, which is going to be required before funding is going to be considered. A lot of times we were looking at an application and they would give us projections and numbers, and so we would kind of go off of the information we would have. And not all events would come back with a post-event report. So we are looking into our application process to kind of tighten those expectations up. And so hopefully in the future, once our fiscal year starts again, these type of discussions would be occurring.
But it is for a good cause.
It is, I
Councilman Jimenez.
And they applied for 4,500, we're giving them 2,500 or 45. And back again, it is for a good cause. they bring in a big crowd from different cities. And like, yeah, look at the big picture. Like, the more people that we get in our city, staying at our hotel, spending money at our restaurants,
Okay.
everything. That's what it's all about.
Before I take a full vote, let me ask, because it's over budget, where's the money going to come from, and will there have to be a budget amendment?
There will have to be a budget amendment, and money comes from hotel tax. All we did was at the beginning of your year, you said we're going to allow $50,000 to be dispersed. You have more than $50,000, and so they dispersed to this date, 57 plus what you just decided tonight. So the money's there, you're just going to use up more of the hotel tax than you had anticipated going into this year, and that'll be a budget amendment will come for you when we finish through all our budget amendment at the end of the year.
Let me say that we have 449,000 in the budget now, correct?
Yes, that's in the fund.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, realistic, we do not have a deficit. We have a deficit where we are already spending more than.
Yes, the deficit comes,
Yes.
in this point,
Right.
comes to the beginning of the year, agreed to spend 50,
Correct.
and you're exceeding that, but the
Right.
funds are there.
There's the point where I was making that overspending so many other places that I did mention that, those cuts. And hopefully coming this year, we will still continue having those cuts. But this individual, this group came in a little bit late because of their schedule. I say this to all groups and organizations, come right after the budget. Because at the end, we have to be making those adjustments, those amendments. But then you make it clear, there are funds there. We have 449,000. The shortage was at the beginning, that's the rule that the council gave was 50,000, and that's it. We've gone over it, we have, absolutely, we have 75, and now the 15 is going to be for next year. But this one is, if we pass it, we have the funds for it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have,
15 is this year, too.
I have a motion on the floor already, and I'm going to second.
Can
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
The 1,500 is this year, too, because we voted.
Yes,
Yeah,
this
this year.
is week, yes.
right, but it's not going to be till next year's budget.
No.
No, so you voted tonight to give the Eastern Star their check this year.
My bad.
But I do want to say, Marissa mentioned that based on something that you brought forward, Mr. Ortiz, to limit it, to put a cap on it, you opted not to do so. That's what they took back and considered, making the changes, and they've made their own decision. They've made some establishing rules for themselves. They're bringing back things that they think next year going forward that will be reduced. So as you said, the Councilman Ortiz, the Councilman, as you mentioned, they asked for 450, and they're limited in how much they will stand. So they have made the adjustments. They had a very long meeting. They're adjusting their application process and those are the things so that we can monitor a little bit better. But I think the children in the need of this one in Eastern Star approved that they felt strongly enough, and the council and the chairman can tell you she's been trying to get on your agenda. I didn't make it easy to come before you because they felt that strongly.
Okay.
What I was gonna say is like, I think it should be capped because, at the beginning of the year, we started off with, the first month, I think it was 45,000, that was a lot, and then it just went on and on.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor. Councilwoman Cantu, a second by Councilman Jimenez. All those in favor, please raise your